Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to clear up a fundamental concept in HTML that you need to know: block elements versus inline elements. Understanding this will make your life so much easier when you're structuring web pages. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes an element block or inline, and we'll talk about two of the most common elements in this category: div and span. So stick around. Alright, so why do we care about this? Well, knowing the difference helps you control the layout of your web page more effectively. Imagine trying to arrange a puzzle without understanding how the pieces fit together. It'd be pretty frustrating, right? This concept forms the building blocks of creating visually appealing and functional web pages. Let's start with block elements. These are the elements that take up the entire width of the container and always start on a new line. It's like having a full-size piece of furniture that takes up the whole room. It stands alone. Some common block elements include headers like h1, paragraphs, and of course the div element, which we'll dive into in a bit. Here's a quick example of block elements in action. See how each element stacks on top of the next, taking up the full width. That's what makes them block elements. Also, observe the style attribute. This is one way to style a web page, but we will get into styling more in a future video. The background color is used on the div to show how the element takes up the whole line. Now let's talk about inline elements. These only take up as much width as necessary and don't force a line break. Think of them as smaller pieces that fit nicely within a larger block, like decorations on a shelf. Common inline elements include the A tag for links, the strong tag for bold text, and the span element, which we'll explore shortly. Here's what inline elements look like in a web page. Notice how everything stays on the same line, flowing naturally. Alright, now let's tie it all together with two essential elements: div and span. These elements are non-semantic, which means they don't tell the browser anything about their content. Instead, they're used for grouping and styling. The div element. This is a block-level element. Use it to group larger sections of content. It's super handy when you want to apply styles or organize your layout. The span element. On the flip side, span is an inline element. Use it to style or manipulate smaller chunks of text without breaking the flow. Remember, div is for block level grouping and span is for inline content. Now it's your turn. Create a simple web page that uses both block and inline elements. Try grouping content with div and styling text with span. Add some inline CSS to see how it affects your layout. Drop your examples or questions in the comments. I'd love to see what you come up with. Here is a code example. Alrighty guys, the first thing we're going to do is create a div. So create div tags. Inside that we'll create the paragraph tag saying this text has, and inside the p tags we'll have a span tag, and we'll add the style attribute, the color blue. Now inside the span we'll add blue words, and outside the span but inside the paragraph we'll add in the sentence. Now if we save that, we'll have a look, and there you have it. Understanding block and inline elements will make styling with CSS a breeze. And don't worry, we'll cover how these elements work with CSS in a future video. Also, as we go deeper into HTML, you'll learn about semantic elements, which add meaning to the content. But for now, get comfortable with div and span. That's it for today's lesson on block versus inline elements. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, happy coding.